So today's video is going to be a little bit different because I am going to attempt to walk through whatever, one of my patches that I've done in the past, and yeah, talk a little bit about it. So the reason that I'm doing this is because I put this patch together for a performance in May, early May, at the University of Birmingham, and foolishly I didn't record the performance. I didn't record the patch before I unplugged all the cables, and so I've been meaning to record a version of it for some time, and I thought, well, this is just a good opportunity to sort of talk about that and yeah, talk about the patch and, you know, how it came together and so on. So it's a bit of an experiment because I don't think I've ever done a video before where I'm trying to patch and talk at the same time. So it might not work, but we'll see. We'll see if it works. So if you do enjoy this and you'd like to see more of this kind of you know, patching, talking videos, whatever, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Hey there! If you are enjoying these videos and you are enjoying the weird and wonderful world of modular synthesis, then please do consider hitting the subscribe button. It just lets the algorithm know that I'm not sat here muttering to myself in this room full of cables for no reason. And of course, if you would like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon, the link is in the description. There's not an awful lot on there at the moment, but it is growing and it is filling up. You can kind of think of it as like an exclusive minimalist modular experience. But genuinely, your support is very much appreciated. It keeps the patch cables untangled and the ideas flowing. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. It really does mean a lot. But let's get back to the video, shall we? Cheerio. So before we get going with the actual patching part of the video, though, I thought I'd just explain a little bit about the piece. Fortunately, I have my trusty notebook here, which I obviously talk about lots in previous videos. This is kind of like my patch Bible. Everything every patch that I've done is in here. Not every patch that I've done, but you know, over the last couple of years it is. So this particular patch started out as one of the 30 days. 30 patches, 30 days things that I did. So one of those, in fact, let's see if I can find. See, I should have done this in advance, shouldn't I? So day 13, sketches 128. See, now in this book, very usefully, I've written page numbers. And so I can refer to a particular page, page 177. I can skip back to that original patch. And let's have a look if this works. Yes, 18th of January, day 13, sketches 128. So that particular patch, I wanted to do something with some kind of sample or something that was like a sound that was external to the modular synth. And to play that, I think I used my Roland SP404. So I found this this random sample on my hard drive, which I didn't really know what it was, but it sounded cool, so I thought this will be great for this patch. And yeah, so you can go back and have a listen to that. So the reworked version is very similar to that. I just added a couple of extra elements and maybe just kind of, I don't know, tightened it up a little bit. For the performance, I needed to give it a title. So I decided on the title Ghosts. Now there's, I suppose there's a bit of a backstory to it. So the sample that I chose was from a collection that I'd found, and I have to refer to this piece of paper where I've printed everything out. So it was a project called Revive, and I'll put a link to that in the description. which was run by Sound and Vision, which is the National Media Archive of the Netherlands. And this project basically sort of collects archive material and puts it out there for people to try and do something different with, and try and do something new with, you know, with all these sounds and so on, in the genre of electronic music and so on. So that's where I got this sample from. Now, the sample itself, it took quite a while. There was no information about where the sample was from or what it was. It's just, as you'll hear in the patch, or you might already have heard, because I might already have put the actual music up. In fact, I think I probably have done. You'll hear it's the sound of an instrument, a stringed instrument, sort of Asian origin. So it took me quite a while to find the origins of this recording, but eventually I did. And what I discovered was that this recording was made by a Japanese composer and ethnomusicologist called Hisao Tanabe. Now, I will apologise for my poor Japanese pronunciation. But yeah, so he made this recording in 1942, and a lot of his work, he travelled around Asia quite extensively, recording music practices with the intention of preserving them for the future, because he probably felt that, you know, some of these folk practices were dying out or would disappear. Ironically, you know, it seems that his actual recordings have disappeared or are very hard to find, whereas some of these practices that he recorded have continued on. So that was his main purpose, was sort of you know, documenting, recording a lot of these practices. However, there were also you know, sort of imperialistic notions there as well, because he also kind of promoted this idea that a lot of Asian music was of a similar or a common source, and that Japanese music in particular was the pinnacle of that. So, you know, there were these sort of sort of imperialistic colonial kind of attitudes that were going on at the time. But yeah, so the actual piece of music is now, what's the name? I've written it down. I think I can't, or maybe I haven't written down. But the title of the actual piece of music translates to Indian kokyū, and that is a kokyū is a Japanese instrument. Again, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. And the Indian instrument that he recorded obviously reminded him of that instrument, and it was on a recording which was called Daitoa Ongaku Shusei, which translates as the Greater East Asian Music Collection, and that was compiled in 1942. So the actual instrument is most likely a Hindustani instrument called a sarangi, which is a stringed instrument played with a bow. And yeah, so you'll hear that instrument in the recording. And my intention with this piece of music was to kind of have this. So there was a theme to the festival that I was performing at the University of Birmingham, which was to do with East and West and so on. Yeah. So my idea was to have this kind of the original recording sort of broken up a little bit, a fragmented, sort of like a lost memory, and then to have it sort of this kind of like dialogue between past and present, with the modular synth representing the present and the recording representing the past, and then have these sort of fragmented memories kind of come in and go in as the piece sort of progressed. Anyway, that's kind of, I don't really want to ramble on too much more than that, because it's probably a bit boring. But that was sort of the idea behind it. So I hope you enjoy this sort of walkthrough, breakdown, whatever you want to call it. And if this works, and you know, I have to figure out the best way of sort of titling these videos, but if this works and people enjoy it, then I might do some more of these for some other patches that I have done as well. So thanks for watching, and yeah, enjoy. Okay, so here I am at my desk. Now, I just started doing this and realized that I had not hit record on the door, so I am now starting again from scratch. Joy of joys. I have got a bit of a time limit here because my family are out at the moment, but they'll be coming home very soon, and once they're home, this will end because I will have small people running around. Anyway, let's crack on as quick as we can. So I had just patched the voice up. I pulled it all out because I had not hit record, so that was a bit pointless. So let's start. So I've got my notebook here, which you can see. So these are my patch notes, which are my instructions, basically my recipe, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I'm going to be working from right now to get this patch going. The original sample is on here on my Roland SP404, which I am basically just using purely for playback. I'm not using any of the functions of here at all. At some point I may try and integrate this further, but at the moment I just use it for playback. So the actual sample is about 9 minutes long, which is the length of the track, and that is on pad 1. It's playing right now, so it's coming out of there. I've got 2 instances of mutable instruments ears, which I'm using as kind of like my input for these sounds. When I originally had this, I only had one of these, so I've since got a second one. So this is quite handy because now I can have a separate left and right. So let's get patching. Right, so according to the instructions I have here, I'm going to come out of one of these ears into the left input of clouds, and from the other one into the right input of clouds. And then this is the part that sort of confuses me, because what I've written down in here is that I come out of the right input of clouds with a little splitty cable thing into the left and right of Morphagene, and then out of the left and right into another splitty cable. And this, I don't know why I didn't just use the mono input and output, but it's probably because I started doing it one way and then changed something partway through, and it ended up like this. But anyway, that's what I've got written down. And straight away you can hear that sample, you can hear the lovely sound of that sarangi instrument. And that is the first, more or less the first voice. So I should also note that I have the BPM on pans set to 88. Okay. Now I have also in advance, so I've got a memory card which this sample is recorded onto. And you can sort of hear that there, although it is considerably quieter than the original. Anyway, so what else have we got? So we've got tides. Channel 1 is going into the Morphagene slide. Which is over here, and let's just pull these out for a minute because no, that's right, sorry. And channel 3 is going into the gene size over here. And then I've also got channel 8 of which is on divide 8, and we'll check the shape here. And we've got another split cable coming out of there. You can see my cable management is horrific because I've just got a huge tangle of cables over there, which is just ghastly. So channel 8 coming out of there, and that is going into the morph control. We might as well set that going, haven't we, so we can see what happens. And then we've also got channel 2 of PAMs, which is on divide by 11. Shape invert. Yes. Okay, channel 2 is going into the pan control. Is it going to reach? There's that one there. And that's the first voice of this track. Flying through. Right, voice 2. Okay. Now apparently, so this is going to be interesting. So we've got voice 2 coming out of ears, split, and it's going into the right. So let me understand this right. So going into the right. I'm confusing myself now. See, this is when you read it and you think, I wish I'd made these notes a little bit more. So we've got 2 instances of clouds going into the right input. It goes into left and right. And then we've got another version of clouds, which is going to, I think this is going to make sense. So the other version of clouds is going to be going, so the left output of clouds is going into my mixer over here, and I think the idea of that is that when the Morphagene is in full swing, we still get some sort of version of the original sample. Okay, so Chaos X. So this module here is what's it called? Chaos Diode Chaos, which is from Zlob Modular, and it's great. So you have these 3 chaotic oscillators, like chaotic LFOs, which is not random but chaotic, and I don't really understand the maths of it, but it's kind of cool, and also a trigger. So I quite often use this because I will take the X output and put that into the auxiliary of clouds, and what that does is it applies that signal to all of the CV of all of the controls at once, and sort of randomly modulates everything. But if you plug a cable into any of the individual CV controls, it takes that control out of the global thing. So I will also plug in the reverb and the mix control so that they're not being modulated. Everything else is being modulated by this chaos, but not those particular controls. And then it looks like I also had the marbles, so from volts per octave from there going into the X2 CV8 going into volts per octave of clouds as well, and the chaos, the trigger function from the chaos. It's too long. Going into there. So that will chaotically trigger the freeze on clouds. Okay, so that is voice 2. Let's just turn that one off a minute. So hopefully you can hear that's voice 2 there. If I take this one out, and that's the Morphagene version, which is very similar at the moment, but that's the one that forms sort of like the glitchy part of it all. Okay, let's put that one back in. There's a lot of hiss, but actually I think that's okay because it gives it this kind of you know, it's that kind of degraded sound of a really old field recording, so I'm not really bothered about the hiss. In actual fact, I think I quite like it. So the next voice is a drone, and that is supplied by Make Noise Telharmonic module, which is a great module, kind of additive synthesis module, based on the Telharmonium, which is a very early synthesis instrument, you could say. Worth googling that if you're not familiar with it and the history behind that. But anyway, let's crack on with this. So this is just a drone. So we are taking the what have we got? P out. Cables. I need to have these cables in a much tidier fashion. What doesn't help is that I'm trying to work quickly because I don't want this video to be ridiculously long, and we'll need that later. That's a tuner, and also because I have a time deadline, so I'm trying to work quickly, and of course working quickly and carefully are often things that don't go together well. So from the P out into the FM in of that module, and then we have the H out, which is here, which is going to channel 4 input. Now, you know, obviously I'm just very quickly patching this together now, but this patch kind of evolved originally as one of those 30-day sketches, and a lot of the time, a lot of the patches that I do, they do kind of you know, it is a very explorative process where I'm tinkering, trying things out, adding things, taking them away, etc. So it's almost sort of like a collaborative process with the modular synth. But for the sake of just getting this together, I am kind of going through quite quickly. So this voice, though, this drone was not in the original patch from the 30 days. This was an extra element that I added because I wanted to have some kind of lower frequency part that would sort of anchor the piece a little bit more than just the sample and whatever else was going on. Okay, what else have we got? So we've channel 4 of tides is going to the CV of the mixer for panning. Now at the moment, let's just turn these other voices off, because all we've got is I think that's the reason. You know, sometimes my daughter comes in here and she just twiddles the knobs, and then you've no idea what has happened. And then you come to use it and it doesn't work, and you think, what's going on? Right, so that was going into there. Channel 4, pan. So I often note things as like a clock face. So I've got this set with the pan at 10 o'clock, and then the attenuator sort of 2 o'clock. I need to tune that in a minute. We've got some modulation from the Chaos. There's a lot of Chaos module again. I can find a decent cable. That is going into, what's it going into? It's going into the centroid. This one down here. And then we've got the channel 2 of tides. It's going into the flux. Is that going to reach? Is it going to reach? Oh, it is, just about. There we go. Lovely. Okay. It's sounding quite menacing at the moment. I don't remember it sounding that menacing, but hey ho. Let's just tune that in. I think as a drone, I think I had tuned that to the note of D. Let's just take that out. Now normally I would be wearing a pair of headphones and listen that way, but at the moment I have not got any headphones on. I've just got the sound coming out the speakers, and in actual fact let's just pop a, I can't hear, I find it better to be able to hear what you're doing, so just pop a splitter cable in so I can hear while I'm tuning it, hear what I'm actually tuning it to. Yeah, it's not actually very loud in the room at the moment. I just realised I've got an excessive amount of reverb. Let's take these some of this modulation out, because it's making it difficult to tune. Okay, it's very, very sensitive control. That's almost perfect. It's so difficult to tune this. There we go. Right, where was that going there? That was going down there, wasn't it? And that one was going over there. I think that's about right. We'll see. We'll see. Right, so that's the drone. Okay. Okay. We're still going. We're getting there. We are getting there. I've got 2 voices to go, and then some modulation. So I think I've done all that one. So the next voice is rings. So I used. I've got 2. In fact, what are the next 2 voices? They're both. I've got 2 versions of rings, which I'll refer to one as the black rings and one as the white rings, just because that's the colour of the faceplate. So let's set up the rings. So I think we are using marbles. So X1 is coming out of there, is going into the volts per octave there, and T1. So if you've not come across marbles before, marbles is a brilliant module because you can do so much with it in terms of like generating modulation or using it as a sequencer. It's really kind of performable as well. It's one of the first modules that I ever got, and probably one of my favourite modules that I'll use in every single patch. It has been replaced to a certain extent with PAMs now that I've got PAMs, but it's still very much a module that I would not be without. Anyway, we're coming out of that rings over here into the FX aid. This cable's probably a bit too long, but it'll do. Now I'm going to assume that this rings is also not in tune at the moment, because why would it be? So FX aid, and that's going into channel 6. So let's just turn that up and hear what horrible untuned sound we have there. Now, foolishly, I have I not written down? Oh, that was foolish, wasn't it? Let's just go back to. See, I haven't written down some of the settings for rings, but because I based this on an earlier patch, I can go back to. It, and hopefully I've written it down there. If not, red, yellow, red, yellow. Oh, okay. It's fine. Tuned to D. So, yeah, so in order to tune this, I will set marbles to be outputting just one consistent voltage, which is the root note of the scale, and then use my tuner to tune that in to the note D, hopefully. Which I'm going to assume that it is not tuned to it at the moment. I think that sounds better. Right. What else have we got going on in this voice? Sort of in tune. Right, then we've got ears, envelope out, which is going into the shape. I don't even remember doing that. So, apparently, the envelope out, so ears as well as acting as like an input and like a preamp thing. You've also got an envelope follower, so I must have used the envelope from the audio source to modulate the shape there of rings. I don't even remember doing that, but apparently I did. And then I also have, I often use the sine wave from STO for FM modulation, which looks like I've done that this time as well. And I probably did that for both. Oh, I did write it down. So rings, red, yellow, shape, 11 p.m. I shall tune all this properly before I record the performance. 3 p.m. Okay. What else have we got? So channel 6 is going to modulate. Channel 6 of pans is modulating the position, apparently. It's crazy when you come back to this and like I'm going through this now and I don't remember doing half of this stuff. Level 80%. I do love PAMs. It's so easy to use and so much that you can do with it. Sometimes some of the settings that I've got on the modules are they're just left over from whatever whatever the previous patch was. That's not going to be long enough. And then that channel 8 that I had set up before, which was modulating the pan control for channel 1 on the mixer, I had a splitter cable in that and I didn't know what that was for, but now I do because I've written it down here, and that is for also modulating the pan here, and we've got that set at, the pan is just also slightly, and there. Okay, that is voice 4. So this is all just sounding a bit of a mess at the moment, but I'm working my way through. Okay, voice 5, the final voice, which is rings here, and this one is going to use some shorter cables. So we want, sometimes I do try and colour coordinate my cables, and sometimes I don't, and I don't know. Sometimes I just can't be bothered. Sometimes I start colour coordinating and then I realise that I haven't got enough cables of a particular colour, and that really annoys me, and so I just think, oh, I'm better not to colour coordinate because it's just too annoying when I haven't got enough cables that are the right colour. Oops. So this second version of rings is going to go through beads. Let's just quickly tune that in before we get anywhere. The one thing that's good about rings is that it is kind of like stepped. So when you're tuning it, provided it's being calibrated correctly, you're sort of you're not having to get it sort of like finely tuned bang on, because it just goes through the sort of increments of the scale. Right. Anyway, well, what's next? That's going to go into there, so that's tuned. Shape. Somewhere around there. I'll tune it in a little bit later on. Brightness. Brightness, where's brightness? That one. Damp. Off a bit. And off that way a little bit. Looks like I used that there as well. So hopefully I am not blocking the camera too much, but I probably am, aren't I? So, right. So that is rings. It's just. Oh, idiot! I haven't. I was wondering why there's no sounds because I've patched it into beads, but then I haven't patched beads into anything else. Let's see what happens here. Let's just turn everything down. What's still playing? Okay, we'll bring some notes back into, so it's not just playing one note all the time. So that's that version of rings. That's the other version of rings. Okay, what have we got? So, channel 5 from Ham's Pro is going into rings position. And channel 5 needs to be changed, so we've got minus, or divide by 16 rather. Offset 50%. Okay, then we've got channel 1 H. Oh, splendid. It's going into freeze. Let's set up channel 1. So this channel 1 is divide by 3. Oh, that's it. Okay. Actually, better check that everything else is just as it should be. It should be 100%. I think. Turn that off. Okay. I think that's correct. And then we've got channel 3 is going into second reach. Oh, it's a bit tight. Where have I got a cable that's too long? I can swap. Channel 3 is going into the seed. So let's set up channel 3 times 2.6. Yep. Width. I think width is meant to be 50. Is it? I can't remember. I think. Hang about. Let's just go to reset it. Okay, so square. Yeah, it was 50. Level 100. Probability. 41. Euclidean steps. And Euclidean triggers. Right. Okay. Right, now I've also got channel 7. Oh, channel 7. What's it going into? That's interesting. So, I've got channel 7 on PAMS written down in here, but I haven't written where it's going to. Why haven't I written where it's going to? Maybe it's not going anywhere. Maybe it's just there for fun, for spare. Let's have a look if channel 7 occurs in the earlier version of the patch notes. Channel 8, channel 3, channel 7. Channel 7 is going into the shape. Rings shape. Let's make a note of that for future. Might be that I put it into the shape initially and then took it out. Because I do that sometimes. Decide that I don't want something anymore. I don't really need a cable that long. Blimey. Will that do it? Will that short cable do it? Oh, just about. Right. Let's come out of that one and then set up channel 7, which is there we go, that's all of that. Okay. So, on beads we have density is quite high, time is on 50%, but the attenuator for time is on there. Size is on max, shape is on min, and something like that. Pitch. Okay, what we've got two last things to patch, some modulation. So Y is going into tides FM, apparently, got a shorter cable. And Pams Pro channel 4 is going into... What's it going into? Ah, it's clocking marbles. So channel 4, which is there, is gonna clock marbles. If I can find it. Is it that one? I think it's that one. Okay, and then we've got some jitter. We've got steps there. We've got rate about there. Everything on green. Yep. So that is the patch done. Okay, so the main camera just ran out there for a few minutes, but it's back. Okay, so that is the basic patch. So we've got all of these voices. Let's just quickly run through them all. So we've got that one, which is clouds. We've got the Morphagene version, which also has a bit of clouds in it. That can mix between itself. We've got this drone, which is probably slightly out of tune again now. I'll have to retune that in a minute. And we've got these instances of rings. Bit of glitchiness there. And that's it. That's basically it. So, what I'm going to do now is I am going to record a version of the track, a performance. So also what I have in my notebook is I have a bunch of performance notes. So this is basically like almost like a score really, that I just go through following what I'm going to do, so I can perform it. It's not exactly the same every time, but it more or less is. So I'm going to rehearse that a few times now. I'm not going to film that because that will be quite boring. And then I'm going to film a final version of it. And post that up in a separate video, and that's probably going to go up on Friday, so you might well have seen that final version before you've seen this video. So let me know what you think about this, if this is interesting. Yeah, I can't really hear this that well at the moment, so because it's really quiet. We'll see what comes of it. So that is the patch. If you have any questions about this patch, drop them in the comments below. Or if you have any comments, or you just think, why on earth have you done that? That seems like a really stupid way of doing it. What, you could do it this way instead. Let me know. And there we go. Bit of noise. A little bit of noise. A little bit of noise. Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting. Yeah, it was fun for me to do a different kind of video, and I might put this in a different playlist, perhaps on the main channel page. If you haven't already, so I have put a video out which is just the music, and I think that probably came out on Friday just gone. So check that out if you haven't done so already. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed that, if you'd like to see more of this type of video. I've put links in the description as well to where I got the sample from and all the rest of it. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheerio.